In the early 60s, a new sound out of California began making waves.
The Beach Boys.
Get around, I get around, yeah, get around, woo, I get around.
Brian Wilson helped write more than 24 top hits. The Beach Boys were on the top of the world. But shortly after, Wilson suffered the first of several nervous breakdowns. He stopped touring, did massive amounts of heavy drugs, and gradually became a recluse. But decades later, we learned that during much of that time, Wilson was being controlled by a therapist named Jean Landy, who Wilson says cut off contact with his family, kept him doped up, even controlled who he dated, as dramatized in the recent movie Love and Mercy.
Please understand something. I hope you do. It's my job, it's my duty to approve anyone that Brian is spending time with. And I mean everyone.
The movie tells how he met Melinda Ledbetter, a car saleswoman who helped him seize back control of his life.
What do you think?
I don't know.
She later became his second wife.
Well, take your time. There's no pressure. Blue is a very calm color.
She kind of turned your life around.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, well, the movie is about getting you out of the clutches of that doctor. And you met her
1986.
buying a car.
Yeah, I bought a car from her. It's a Cadillac dealership. I met her and I thought, wow, what a pretty girl, you know. And so I married her.
And how long have you been together now?
21 years.
Wow. I found it interesting, you talk about psychedelic drugs leading to mental illness and so on, and a lot of people have written about how your dad was violent, and how, you know, you were demonized by him. But I wonder, you seem still protective of him, like you can't decide if he was...
Well, I'm not scared of him anymore. You know, when I was a kid, I was scared as hell of my dad. He used to beat me up with a belt. You know, he used to beat the hell out of me.
You can imagine a spanking like, whip, but his voice and his thing was more, I mean, very, very hard.
And he was very, very, very cruel person.
And then you asked him to sort of leave you guys alone.
We fired him, yeah.
And then afterwards, it sounds like he was depressed. So I wonder, do you think that he suffered from some of the head stuff that you've had to go through?
Probably so. Probably. I'm not sure. Probably did.
Do you think it would be easier for somebody with some of the problems that you had today?
Yeah, I think so. I think someone who pop bad drugs, making a big mistake, you know.
Do you think the source of the problems that you had was the psychedelic drugs?
Yes.
Yeah?
The psychedelic drugs messed my life up.
But they made you more creative too, right?
Yeah, but I got good vibrations, the California girls, you know. So that helped me, Rhonda. I wrote those all after I took the psychedelic drugs.
But it wasn't worth it?
No, it was not worth it.
Wow. So do you still, you used to hear voices?
Yeah. Auditory hallucinations, you mean?
Yeah.
I've been hearing them for 50 years. Ever since I took psychedelic drugs.
What do they say?
Oh, very many derogatory things, very many. Threatening thoughts, life-threatening thoughts, and, you know.
Do you still hear them?
Yeah.
Really? So what do you do now when you hear them?
I say, please stop talking to me. Please stop talking to me. They won't stop.
Your wife, Melinda, I think you look for her when she helps you with
Yeah,
that.
she helps me. She says, get those drugs out of here, you know.
Do you hear them sometimes when you're on stage?
Yeah, I do.
That must be awful.
Well, it's like doing two things at the same time, you know. I play the piano and sing, and the voices will be bombarding my brain at the same time. So it's rough, but not too rough, you know.
You figured out how to handle it.
Yeah.
And yet you've created some of the most beautiful voices.
Yes, I have.
Kind of a weird irony, huh?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be a genius without the
drug?
voice? Yeah.
No. Unfortunately, I wouldn't have. But the drugs mess up my brain, you know. I would not have been able to write as good a music if I hadn't taken drugs.
Today, Brian Wilson is back, performing all over the world. For Brian Wilson, his past and present bandmates, and for their fans, it's a music genius catching up, perhaps, for lost time.
So now you're back on the road.
Yeah. I'm
What's
back
that
doing
like?
Tours. It's fun. It's fun work, but the traveling part's not good. It's hard for me, you know. Get up in the morning, go on the airplane, go through security, you know. All that kind of stuff is tough for me.
But what's it like when you get on stage?
Well, when I get on stage, all my troubles go away, and we just play our song, you know.
When people say, after we're both gone, what do you want people to say about you?
I want to be remembered as somebody who knew how to make good harmony with my group.
Well, you sure did that.
Yes. Well, I enjoyed the interview.
I
much.
very much enjoyed talking to you,
Okay.
Brian. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.